Hello again, Chris Lee, Blake Lovell, Max Barr, Southeastern 16 here to preview Arkansas's matchup with Baylor. You can catch that 6:30 this Saturday on ESPNU. Don't see a line on this yet. Ken Palm has got Baylor as about a 1-point favorite. This game being played off campus in Dallas. Arkansas beat Lipscomb, pulled away from the Bisons late in that one, and went to 1-0 under John Calipari. For Baylor, boy, for Scott Drew and those guys, absolute disaster going to Gonzaga and losing that one there. Blake, I'll start with you. What do we learn about those two teams after their openers?
Well, Baylor, I'm not sure you want the answer to that. I mean, look, is there a I think there is a chance that that's just one of those games where you just run into an absolute buzzsaw on night one where everyone's amped up for the first game of the season. You have to go on the road and play a national title contender, and things just go south, and when it starts going south, as we always say, like especially in those kind of settings, it's hard to get back, especially when you can't make a shot. Baylor went 3 of 21 from 3. You're trying to play from behind, those kind of things. If the shots aren't falling, the score is going to be lopsided. And that's what happened. Do I think Baylor on most nights is 38 points worse than the Zags? No, I don't. So I'm not going too far in that direction. If anything, I think it says a lot more about the Zags maybe than it does Baylor and what they could be this season. But, on the Arkansas side, we talked about it in the reaction video on Thursday. I think Arkansas, you saw some good things. You saw some things that certainly have to be cleaned up. Their shooting is also something that I think that's going to be a work in progress. They're going to have some of those games like they had against Lipscomb where they just can't find a bucket from outside. But the talent is there. The very skilled guards. I think we continue to see how the front court rotation develops. I don't know how much we learn from that just one game in. But I think these are two pretty good teams, despite the fact that Baylor got blown out. Arkansas is very talented, as we mentioned. So, look, I mean, we're going to make our predictions. I can't even tell you I have any clue where I'm going to go just yet. And we're 5 minutes away from predictions here. I'm just like, this is a tough one for me to figure out.
Yeah, that opening night matchup for Baylor, I think you nailed it, Blake, when you said it says more about Gonzaga than it does Baylor. Gonzaga played 8 players, and only 2 of them weren't returners. Baylor played 7, and only 2 were returners. Okay, it was a team, a brand new team against a oiled buzzsaw machine in Gonzaga. So I'm not taking too much away from. I think it's more about the Zags than it is Baylor. The thing with Baylor, though, is they did only play 7 players. 8th man is only playing 6 minutes. 7th man is at 23 minutes. So it's a very tight rotation for Baylor. When you look at Arkansas, it was kind of spread out, double digits all the way through 8. And then the 9th man, Adu, is kind of working back from injury. So you can almost say Arkansas probably go more into 9 guys here, where Baylor will only go into 7 guys. I think that plays a role, if I'm being honest. I think that plays a role. You're going to have an Arkansas team that's going to really, really take advantage of the dribble drive. That's what Calipari likes to do. It's what he did a lot against Lipscomb. And they only shot 7 free throws, did Arkansas. I can guarantee you, John Calipari is saying we need to shoot more than 7 free throws. And against a 7-man rotation, could work out pretty well for Arkansas.
Arkansas on opening night had trouble shooting the 3, 4 of 19, something like that. We talked about that in our reaction video. But 2 things I liked about Arkansas watching that Lipscomb game is that it did 2 things. I thought early when the game was tight, they got a lot of great defensive play out of their backcourt, some open floor pickpockets for some easy buckets on the other end. And then it was late. They used their height to their advantage as Lipscomb tried to get to the rack and shoot shots. So I think defensively, this is kind of interesting. Arkansas was a team that defended really well on opening night, while Baylor, I get it was Gonzaga, but man, the defense had to be a little concerning. And I'm really wondering how that plays out in this one.
Well, and that's why Arkansas's got to challenge them, and Arkansas has got to take good shots. And I think that's the big thing here is Baylor is the kind of team that if they are at their best, which they certainly were not against the Zags, they will make you take tough shots, and they will physical you all across. I mean, that's what we just like expect from Scott Drew's teams. Like they will find a way to bump you. They'll make you take tough shots, and again, that's where like I don't think Arkansas can settle for jump shots here. Like they need to be able to get those guards going downhill. Boogie Flan, DJ Wagner, John L. Davis. They need these guys to do what Cal wants them to do. And again, the dribble drive's not for everybody. It's not my favorite thing sometimes because I think it can really bog you down if you're not able to get sort of a bit more movement from everybody else and you're just watching one guy dribble and such. But it's not, you're going to have some of that, but like that's not really what it's all about. Like you're going to have a little bit more, I think, free-flowing type offense here. And I think that's what Arkansas has to do. Like they're going to have to be able to find a way to get good shots. And I know it's easy to say, well, the Zags got all the good shots they wanted. Well, a little bit different, I think, in this scenario. Yeah. So I think shot selection, very important for Arkansas here. They need to play to their strengths, which I think it's their quick guards and helping the guys in the front court get easy looks. But also, I mean, look, I think the big thing about this game is Jonas Adu played 7 minutes against Lipscomb. If Jonas Adu plays 7 minutes in this game, I don't like Arkansas's chances. They have to have him, I think, for a game like this. And so maybe and again, I'm not, not a doctor, but you would assume that, okay, they held him off about as well as they wanted to against Lipscomb, knowing that there's a bigger game on tap here and that now maybe he's much closer and ready to go, because I'm sure Cal also knows that they really need him in a game like this.
All right, let's get the picks and why. Before we do that, reminder, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. BetOnline will get you in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, we'll do picks. We'll go Max and then me and then end it with Blake. Give me your winner and why.
Yeah, with Baylor's big man, Norchad Omier, he's one of the better offensive rebounders in the nation. If John L. Davis, who's one of the better rebounding guards, Brazil, Big Z, Thiero, if they can nail the defensive boards and keep Omier off those O boards, giving them extra possessions, kicking it out to those shooters, and at the same time attack him because he's not much of a rim protector. And we were just talking about Arkansas getting downhill, trying to get more free throws. I think those two things, if Arkansas can keep Omier off those offensive boards, and then if they also attack, because Baylor does not have much rim protection, I believe Arkansas can win this game kind of in hostile territory-ish. My pick is going to be Arkansas, and my pick is Arkansas because of that man down, that man, Boogie Flan. I'll tell you what, he's going to get downhill, and get downhill some more. That's what they need to do to win this game.
I'm having a hard time because I don't know what to make of Baylor after the names on paper, the experience with these guys. I mean, I get Gonzaga's tough place to play, but my goodness, giving up what they gave up, it was a little disconcerting. I'm going to go Arkansas on this one just because I trust them a little bit more to defend at this point. Again, wasn't always pretty offensively for them the other night. They're not going to shoot somebody out of the gym, but they have length. They've got rim protection. And in a game where, I think one team has shown a little bit more ability through one game to defend a little better, I'll take Arkansas because of Big Z and those guys inside it and maybe what they can do and what I think should be a close game.
So you're saying this is the first
we put you in a spot, didn't we?
of the season for the Southeastern 16 Kiss of Death. It is upon us. Am I the one who, for the first time this season, if you're new to the channel, every time last year, we all picked the same team that guaranteed a victory for the opposition. So should I do this to Arkansas fans? Should I really put them in the spot where they become the first victim of this terrible, terrible phenomenon known as the Southeastern 16 kiss of death. I don't think Baylor can play as bad as they did against Gonzaga.
True.
And that's the thing that I'm hung up on here because, like Chris said, man, it's one thing to lose to Gonzaga. It's one thing to lose like that. But, momentum is a big thing, especially on the road. And so can I say that Arkansas or other teams like that may have not had the same thing happen to them if they just could not make a shot and Gonzaga's doing anything they want? I can't say that with full confidence. So I'll do it. I will pick.
You don't know, do you?
This is tough. Do I want to do this to my Arkansas people? Do I really want to do this to them? And I don't. I really don't want to do it to them. So because of that, I still, though, am going to lean Arkansas here.
Oh, no.
I
sorry,
hate to do
Arkansas.
this. I'm really sorry, Arkansas fans, but I came into this video wanting to pick you, and now we're in a position where if you want to blame anybody, you blame Chris and Max, not me for putting me in the spot. But I do think Boogie Flan, Max said it, I was going to go that direction. I feel like this guy, there's something about him, and I feel like if you got a close game here, you put him in this position, maybe that's kind of that Boogie Flan takeover type scenario. But also he's a freshman, and Scott Drew is going to come out with a great game plan here. And if you look back, how many times in a row throughout his career has Scott Drew lost back-to-back games maybe like this? They've lost back-to-back games, but they're not going to look that bad. They're going to be much improved, Baylor is. But I'll take a shot with Arkansas here too.
What is wrong with us? I mean, we're not even a week in the season, and we're doing this to our own audience.
Well, listen, again, blame you two guys. I was the high man on Arkansas coming into the season.
You had your
I
chance.
should not be blamed for this. I picked Arkansas higher in the SEC rankings than you guys did. So I have to kind of lean on that early on until I'm proven otherwise. So really it should be you guys who are all of a sudden just jumping on the Arkansas bandwagon after game one.
No,
So
I'm not having it.
that's the way I see it. But
Judge
Baylor
Judy,
fans, you're welcome.
This man is like, if you've ever seen Gladiator, he's the emperor that gives the thumb up or the thumbs down. He has all the power here, and he just did it to you anyway.
Hey, let me ask you this quickly, too. Who do you trust more, John Calipari or Scott Drew?
Ooh.
Scott Drew.
Yeah, I do too.
We all picked Arkansas.
Maybe that's recency, but
I mean, I think I want to see offensively what Arkansas looks like here because these are the kind of games, given what Baylor can do defensively. We didn't see it in game one, but if they turn it around and look like we thought they were going to look like, this will challenge what Arkansas wants to be offensively, and I think it's really going to force, like I said, these guards to make some big decisions in key moments in terms of the shot selection, those kind of things. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. We have our fun with the picks and all, but this is not going to be easy for Arkansas. So, call us SEC homers, whatever you want, but it should be a good game. But it's just, man, if Baylor had lost by 15, I would pick Baylor. But my goodness, that was that was not what we expected in game one. So
yeah, I was going to say, all kidding aside, if they go and lose by 6, 8, 10 points, just the optics of that final score.
Yeah,
were what I think really threw us all for a loop. We know that week to week a team can come back. It is closer to Baylor's campus, but I think that's the thing that we're just like, wow, we didn't see that coming, and it makes me. I think it gave us all some questions. So,
well, also just quickly too, if Jonas Adude is not at full strength and he doesn't play a normal minute allotment, I'm going Baylor. There would not be a question in my mind, but I'm going to just assume that he is, and if he is, I think that gives Arkansas a better chance to certainly, win this game. But we'll find out. I mean, this is a tough one for both teams. But
the degree of confidence on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 2.
I mean, Chris, I was hemming and hawing over here. I had no idea who I was picking. So let's not act like I'm confident in this choice. So,
Blake, I was going to say that same thing about Adu because I think one of the most important things for Arkansas this game is keeping Omier off the offensive boards. And if you got a guy like Big Z, Thiero, or even Brazil that gets in a little bit of foul trouble or something, I can see Omier kind of going to work and kicking out for some threes. So Adu's health is probably a little bit more important than we've said the first 15 minutes of this.
Front court foul trouble would worry me. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to recap this at some point. We sometimes go live. We sometimes record these and release them later. Either way, best way to get them, hit the subscribe button and enable your notifications. So, when we do Arkansas fans, if you drop this one, you know where to place the blame. You can come back and yell at us later.
Chris Lee.
Right. That's all I need. Anyway, thank you for watching us here at Southeastern 16, presented by BetOnline.